If you could think of one story from the time you were nursing, something that happened, that for you kind of sums up what it was like to nurse when you were doing that. What would that be? One of your experiences that you remember. Just take your time and think about it.
Um, well, probably actually the polio epidemic, 1957, was it? I think when it was really bad. I was working on the neurology ward then, and they came to us, and it was absolutely horrible. I remember very young, healthy people, babies coming in, some of them dying, um, and we really weren't prepared at all. The wards weren't set up properly, so instead of having them, together in a room, they were all separated, and there were a lot of private rooms there. Um, and the iron lungs were being used, the old iron lungs and all that stuff. That was scary. There were some very sad cases there. But boy, everybody pulled together. They really, remember they had a lot of special duty nurses on then. I don't know if they have that now. Can you pay to have a special nurse?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because that occasion, not all the time, but a few people would have them. And for some of those polio patients, they almost had to because they were so separated on the ward. That they had to have someone with them all the time.
Describe the iron lung.
Just a huge cylinder with portholes on the side and bellows. It was a neck collar that was airtight, and just a pumping bellows at the end that sucked the air in and out. Pull the chest up and down it, but it was a full body thing. Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know very much. Describe how polio affected the victims.
well, there were two kinds. There was the one that affected breathing, the total um, musculature, um, your whole nervous system, so that they couldn't breathe, they couldn't. And usually, if they survived that, that was the most devastating one. But if they survived it, they would recover completely. And then there was the other kind. They had names I can't remember, um, but there was the other kind that left paralysis, and it wasn't as bad in the first instance, but it's left people permanently paralyzed. And I understand that some of them are having relapses even now, which is really, really strange. But anyway, I know I lost a couple of schoolmates to it. It seemed to hit the healthiest, youngest, most vital people, you know. It was that was the hard part. I think it was probably a bit like nursing in war.
Yes.
When, you expect the old to be sick, but not the young ones.
And you're saying the hospital was pretty full those days.
Well, our ward certainly was. Yeah. Yeah, it seems to me we were usually up to capacity. But then that hospital was the one that doctors referred to all the time. So we had a lot of out-of-town patients. People were brought in, and we had, you know, highly specialized doctors, endocrinologists, that sort of thing. So
They still hadn't
they,
found a cure for it,
for
and then they found it, right?
what?
That cure for polio. That was the way to immunize people
Yeah,
against it.
yeah, and I understand that it's recurring a little bit now, but no, polio was a fact of life when we were growing up. We um, were never allowed to go to a public swimming pool or anything like that in the summertime, or to a movie theater, anything like that,
Right.
because the polio would get you.
Okay, well, That's great.
Yeah, that's great. That's see, it's good you brought that up because I had forgotten about the fact that when I was growing up, and I remember my friends being stricken with it.
Yeah, yeah, and it was that was a particular kind of torture. Was we lived right across the river from the Avenue H swimming pool, and you could hear the public announcements and everything, and we were never allowed to go, and that was just heaven on earth, would be to go to the pool, but couldn't do it.